Good morning. Good morning. Conversations with Compassion is back after a couple of weeks of break. If you don't know me, welcome. Hello. If you've been following me for a while, you might know me, but I will introduce myself. I'm Helen Ferguson. I'm a specialist trauma therapist and coach for high-performing women, so professional, entrepreneurial business women who are needing to emotionally recover from trauma and emotional overwhelm and challenging life experiences so that they can stand confidently in their self-belief, their self-worth, their self-identity. I hold people to a place of safety. I bring them to a place of safety so that they can do that. And I set up Conversations with Compassion because self-compassion is an incredibly empowering tool that we have within ourselves. We're wired for it. That is incredibly empowering on a healing journey. But I so often hear from women that I'm working with that it's lazy, it's self-indulgent, that they don't have time for it. And I just really wanted to kind of start destigmatizing all of that. So I set up Conversations with Compassion to invite entrepreneurial, high-performing women and business women to be able to share their experiences of self-compassion and welcoming self-compassion into their lives. And I am hugely excited this morning to have the absolutely fabulous Jo Wilson. And I said I wasn't going to introduce her, but then I got the grimace from Jo going, "Oh my God, please could you introduce me?" But Jo is an incredibly inspirational woman. I've been following her for a while and listening to her for a while on her journey and the work that she's doing. I do that quietly, and I'm totally inspired by what she has done, who she is, and what she's giving to the world right now. So Jo, morning, welcome. Introduce yourself as well, because you will do it better than I've just done.
Well, I'm Jo Wilson and I am owner and founder of Dog School for Humans, where I teach owners how to train their dogs, but we use a lot of energy. It's not just your sit, stay, wait, come thing. I show you how to behave. So your dog behaves. And I have a degree, a Bachelor of Science Honours degree in brain and behaviour. And I use that encompassed with the training that I've had of over 2 decades of training dogs and having dogs. We found a really good formula so people can have a happier life, being able to communicate with the dogs and the dogs communicate with them, and you get to build a better relationship and just have a life of joy that you anticipated having before you got a dog. You know, you can have that life.
It's amazing. We have Emma with us this morning. Hello, Emma. Nice to see you here.
Oh, we love Emma.
Emma. Oh, Helen is a legend. I'll skip past that one quickly.
Yeah, I just told her. She totally. We should just change her name to, Helen Ferguson, the legend.
Slightly uncomfortable, but I'm okay. I'll let it wash over. Me. We've got Dawnie as well. Hi, Dawnie. Hi, Emma.
Oh, Dawnie.
It's fantastic to have you here. So, Jo, usually the first question I ask, and there is a flow that I don't have. You know me, I'm not particularly structured. I'm a bit more fluid than that. But I really kind of want to start the conversation off with what self-compassion means for you. What's your experience of
it? Self-compassion is a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because everybody just thinks like, oh, you've got to be utterly selfish, light the candles and have the bubble bath for an hour a day, and you must carve out that time for yourself and put them boundaries around. And it's not about that. And people don't. That's not for everyone. But what self-compassion is for me is something that I've only recently discovered within the past few years, and it literally does mean asking myself, what do I want to do? What do I need? What does my soul want to do in this life?
Mm-hmm.
What do I need? How can I best support myself? Now, that could be like a range of things, from turning off social media for the day, because I'm fucking overwhelmed. Don't give me no more of that shit. Right? I've just got I'm triggered. Okay, yeah. You've got me, I'm triggered. Or literally just a lot of what I get out of life is from giving to others, but giving in a way that feels aligned to me. So I've had to literally have a real deep look at myself and how I work with integrity and alignment with what feels right for me. And that is not the easiest thing to do in a world where, especially when you've got 37,000 followers on Instagram and you're saying, I don't care what other people say. I'm doing it this way. This is me. This is who I am. If you don't like me, fuck off and find someone else. I don't care. Yeah. And so it's literally being in alignment with what you want to do. What does my body want? What does my mind want? What does my heart want? And when you start asking yourself them questions, you might get some pretty scary answers because you're not used to putting yourself, you've been conditioned by society, put others first. You know, you come last, be nice to others, people please. We're taught how to people please from the age of like, what, 2, 3? And then we wonder why we grow up fucking miserable. We're spent. We've got nothing left to ourselves. If we've got nothing in us, we cannot give anything to anybody else. So it literally is being selfish. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. No? Yeah. It's not like, oh, I'm going to have everything and there's nothing left for you. When you realize there's an infinite amount of love, there's, you know, fill your own cup up and then you can literally overflow to other people. But if you've got nothing, you've got nothing to give.
You've got nothing to give. And the thing is, you're right. You know, there are blocks to that there that have happened, that have been conditioned within us. For example, through culture, society, you know, the expectation and an expectation of being female, I think, is also part of that, and what that means, and what being a woman means, and how we're supposed to be, you know. And you know, considering we are literally wired for compassion, and that includes self-compassion. You know, we have 3 areas of the brain and a nervous system that is actually wired for it, but we're blocked. You know, we're told you know, and some of the women that I've recently worked with, it's been quite a revelation for them to unblock themselves from that and say, well, it's not egotistical for me to actually put myself first. That it's not, I'm not harming anyone else by saying no, that I can't do this. You know, I'm looking after me. I'm focusing on me, because if you're right, actually, you know, we can't do what we're doing. I couldn't do what I'm doing if I didn't have any self-compassion. You know,
but you wouldn't be doing what you're doing.
No, I wouldn't be doing.
If you didn't say, I'm not available for everything that you want me to be, which is like, most of it is like, oh, come on. It's just like, oh, it's just like, really? When, sorry, it's all going to come out now.
No, come on. This is what these are about.
The thing is, when you said, especially as a woman, and I'm the mother of 2 sons, yeah, and it was, you know, just expected for me to be there as a mother of 2 sons, not to work anything. Like I've just been saying to you, I had a degree and I still worked in a newsagent for minimum wage. Why? Because it was wrong for me to go out and have a proper job, but that was the man's job. And we're in like, you know, we're not in the 1950s anymore, but people's heads still are. And as a woman to turn around and say, do you know what? I'm not subscribing to this shit anymore. I am not picking up your duds anymore. There's a washing machine there. You don't need, you know, to have a diploma how to use it. Pick your fucking gear up yourself. I am working now. I am stepping into my power. And we've been stripped of our power for so long. For so long without us even realizing. And in trying to claim that power back, and this doesn't mean that you've got to walk around with your Wonder Woman knickers on and your chest puffed out going, I am this, I am that, I am going to do. Do you know, it's literally doing what feels right for you. And I know for me, it was just a burning inside. And when I lived the same year twice, I thought, fuck this.
Yeah.
I get one shot at this life. So nobody else is going to make a difference for me. I've got to be the difference I want to see in my life. And as you're getting older, because like I am, I'm 50 next year. I'm thinking, do you know what? I cannot go back to my 20s and redo my journey, but I can start my journey from
Exactly.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is all about reclaiming your power as
Mhm.
well. And again, that's
Mhm.
filling up your own cup.
Exactly.
Because when you start reclaiming your power, when you start doing things that you want to do, and this is individual to do, it's not just about going in business. It's about saying that I am not subscribing to your family parties because they're shit and I feel shit going. Yeah. It's literally standing up for yourself.
Mhm.
And yeah, you're going to upset people. Yeah, you're going
Mhm.
to lose friends. But you know what? They weren't really your friends
They
anyway.
weren't really your friends, no.
No.
And
And it's
you
hard to
know,
swallow. It is hard to swallow, and it
it
fucking
is.
stings. It does sting. I'm not gonna lie, because that is it's not easy doing it.
No,
It's
but
work.
that's also about aligning yourself with your values, which are integral to self-compassion as well. You know, they're the kind of, you know, values are the handrails to our life. They help us think about our boundaries, what we will and we won't accept, and self-compassion sits alongside that. You know, it's because you have to align those with what you actually need and what you want. And
Yeah.
I remember talking to you, you know, a while back, and when we realised that we'd met, but we hadn't met. You know, we kind of knew each other, but didn't know each
Yeah.
other. And I said to you, you know, when we were talking about what I do, and I said, you know, well, I don't provide a transformation, which is always a tricky one for people, because they're, you know, there's lots of people expecting a transformation in life, and I think it's become a
You gonna give me it.
yeah.
I want you to
But
do the step for me.
yeah, and
Yeah.
what I said to you was, I actually help people discover their real selves. You know, to discover it, to know who they are, to know who they want to be, to not be led by the past and defined by the past, because that's there. You know, you can't you can't there's no going back to it. There's no going no, and often people don't want to go back to it. But it's starting from here, the here and now, and where you want to be, and what you want to be, and how you want to be. So, you know, I'm often asked the questions, what do you think what do you think it'll look like after 3 months of working with you, Helen? And I said, well, you'll feel safe.
Yeah.
You'll feel safe in yourself, and you will discover who you really are. And I kind of was intrigued by what you were saying about, you know, your discovery of self-compassion, if you like, is fairly recent, and how your family, how your boys responded to you stepping out of that role that and the patterns that they'd understood you by,
Yeah.
to how you are now. Because I know there was, I mean, she won't mind me saying, because she is going to come on the show, one of my ex-clients, who's doing incredibly well now, Michelle. And when she was going through that process with me, she was halfway through, I think, the 3 months that I do with people, and her children were like, well, we don't know this, we don't know this woman, you know, we don't, and it felt like,
Give me
you
my
know,
mother back.
yeah.
It's not
And
normal.
they actually said, it feels like you're burying her, you know. And I said, you know, I reframed it, and I said, we're burying the story that other people had of mum. This is who mum is. And
Yeah.
isn't she amazing? Isn't she feeling empowered? Isn't she a warrior inside, you know? And I mean, we called the inner warrioress rather, Bodhicitta, so that she could step into that. But it was really interesting how her children noticed the difference, and how it felt scary for them, initially, because it was a totally different pattern. So
Yeah.
were your boys similar? Did they kind of notice,
Well,
you
my
know?
boys are up. They're both in they're both in the 20s. You know, they're not small children. So I don't know whether that's a good thing or not, because obviously the older they are, the more they've known me as being slightly mad, and because that's part of my personality, just who I
Just
am.
yeah.
But they were also I was also known as being available at any given moment. I worked around the corner from where I lived. If
Right.
they wanted something, they literally walked from the house round the corner to the shop where I
The shop.
worked. like round the corner. That's how available I was. I couldn't even go to work and get away from my family. They were all fucking in there. Oh, Mum, can I just have one of these? I'll just take this. You can pay for it out your wages, do that. That kind of thing. And so I stopped that when I started my own business, which was like a bit of a change. It was a bit of a change for me. And the business was in knit and crochet workshops. And then all of a sudden I wasn't that available. But in doing this, not only was I more not available, but I was also visible on social media. And then they're like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing getting your ass on there? Get off. You make it to yourself. And they had like real mixed emotions about, and a lot of it was concern for me. It's like, mother, you know, yeah, people on there, they're not nice. People on social media, they're going to slate you. People on social media, and they did. They weren't wrong. They did. Yeah, I got proper trolled and whatever. And I just thought, well, do you know what? I remember reading years ago, and I found this hilariously funny, and I keep it in my head now. Is I think it was Jim Rohn said, there's only 9 like nasty people in the world, but they just travel around a lot. So you're going to meet them several times.
You're going to meet them. Yeah. It was Jim Rohn.
Yeah. And when you realise that your brain is pre-programmed to pick up the bad comments because it's a kind of survival thing and ignore all the good things, you home in on the bad one, then you start to understand, you know what? Who am I triggering here? Am I triggering their insecurities? Am I triggering the trolls' insecurities? Have I triggered them in somehow? Am I giving my son something to think about where they're like, whoa, what's happened to my mother? She's actually, they always knew I could do anything I wanted, as in like, walk a dog, have boxer dogs, where people often told me I couldn't have these big, powerful dogs. You know, a woman shouldn't have a dog like that, especially a single parent with 2 children. Have 2 of them. That it's a man's dog.
It's a man's dog.
You know, so we've always kind of lived on the edge.
Yeah.
But to do this, it was kind of, I just had to just let the dust settle with them a bit and saying, look, you're adults now. I've been here for you. I've nurtured you. I've cared for you. I haven't always got it right. I've fucked up many a time, but I've tried. At the moment, in that moment in time, I've tried and did the best I could with what I had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're grown. If you don't like it, fuck off. And I've had to say that to my kids. To which they were just like, yeah, she's not going to change. We might as well just see what she's going to be up to now. And they know I'll always be there for them. They know I'll always be their mother. But they also know that now I've brought them up. Now there's time for me. And besides, they're much too busy having a fabulous social life and having fun and living. So yeah, but it was one of the most difficult times, is seeing them handling
you,
how I was actually just doing what I needed to do, or take it to the retirement home with me and call it a regret. I'm not prepared to do that.
No. Brilliant. So, I mean, they sound amazing too, by the way, your boys.
Oh, they are phenomenal. I'm a bit biased, you know, but they are.
Well, yeah, but you know, you can be. But I was training foster carers last week, and one of the biggest fears actually that they had was being themselves actually in their parenting of these children, and who are very complex children. You know, they do an incredible job, foster carers, but one of the biggest fear, the other alongside that, the other fear was, what if I get it wrong? And I said, well, you're going to get it wrong.
Yeah, expect,
because you're human.
I am going to fuck up. And so during today, I'm going to do something not perfectly. I'm going to fuck up. Yeah. Now, when you start accepting that you're going to make mistakes, you kind of, you're open, you're almost ready for them. You're preparing yourself for them. Okay, so that's where I got it wrong. What can I learn from it?
What can I do?
What can I do now? I know not to do that again. You use it as a contrast, a comparison.
Yeah,
I know not to do that again because I've been there, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
And so life is learning. Life is all about learning. And I've always been a bit on the unconventional side anyway. It's like 30 years ago, because my son's 30 this year. Just have to have that moment. Yeah. So 30 years ago, I remember buying my son the toys that he wanted. Yes, they were from charity shops, because that was the only way you could have them. But I bought him dolls. I bought him tea sets. I got hammered for that. Apparently, I was going to turn him gay. I was I was going to, I was going to seriously, mess with his head. Now, my son now is 6'7", absolutely amazing man. Yeah,
Brilliant.
got to play with dolls and tea sets, but it's 30 years ago it wasn't done. Now
No,
it's entirely different. So me getting slightly slated is I expect it. I expect not to be always doing what people want, even though I have tried. I have tried to fit in. I've tried to fit in as much as I can and make myself as small as possible. But when you start realizing each and every one of us is individual. No, we don't have to be extroverted and go and tie ourselves to railings to make a point. But what we do have to be is true to ourselves.
Exactly. And that's what self-compassion is about.
It's a gift. Don't look the gift horse in the mouth. You've got a chance here to do what's right for you. Yeah. And you can't ignore that. You can't ignore that.
No. Yeah, and it's noticing, acknowledging, accepting that you're important, and every aspect of what you think and what you say and what you want and what you need can be listened to, can be embraced by yourself. And if other, like you say, if other people can't handle that, do they need to be in your life?
I always tell, because I tell my members in my membership in the Dog School for Humans, I tell them, we work a lot on the human mindset, because if you believe that you can't do anything or do something, like train your dog, that's going to happen. If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. Yes, if you keep on saying, I'm not worth anything, I'm not worth anything, you can't then expect to have good self-worth if you believe that you're not worth anything. But when you start thinking, I always tell them, every morning say, I'm fucking amazing. I am fucking amazing. And now this isn't a falsehood thing, because everybody goes, I'm not amazing. Don't do that to me. It makes me want to be sick. So when I explain to everybody that you've literally woke up this morning, you haven't had to turn on the machine that gets air into your lungs. You've got out of bed on your own 2 feet. You've walked down the stairs. You've been like completely oblivious to all of this. You're breathing all the time. Your heart's beating all the time. Your little finger moves when you want your little finger to move. You can hear things, you can see things, you're digesting things, you're not having to like computerize anything. Your body is doing that, your bowel movements are working, your toe cells are going to your toe cells to renew, your hair growth is growing without you even having to do anything. That, to me, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And that's you.
That's
fucking amazing. So I've got them all stand there going, are you fucking amazing? Because it's about accepting the magnificence and the amazing body, this vessel that you're in, and you get in life. And it's kind of acknowledging and treating that with some degree of respect. Because you are important. There's only
because you are important. Yeah. And often, that's absolutely true. But what happens, of course, is the stories and the narratives that get latched on, that are other people's narratives of you, that are other people's stories, other people's expectations. They kind of become this. They could become wrapped around you. And what we have to do is unwrap. We have to unwrap it. That's what we do. We have to unwrap it, and it's because it's suffocating you. And that's how I explain it to women. You're being suffocated by this story, by this narrative, by these experiences that are very difficult for the women that I work with to admit, because it's a sign of failure. It's a sign of, that they're feeling emotionally overwhelmed, and that they're struggling with a And often they, you know, the women that I work with will say, "Well, is it really trauma that I've had? You know, is it, well, you know,
Yeah. Is it worthy of that label?
yeah."
That.
And I'm like, I listen to the story. I always say, I don't take them back to the past. I just need to know what happened. And I then know what to incorporate, because there's a foundational program, but I add layers to it based on the experience. But I say I have to know it, because then I know what else to add. Then I know what you've experienced. Then I know then I can understand what you're feeling and how you're going to express it. So, but we're not going to live there. We're going to unwrap it.
Yeah.
We're
Because
going to unwrap it from
it-
around you, because
this
actually
is-
what needs to happen is that needs to be taken away. That's a noose around your neck. That's not, that's not helping you at all. And
it's
then,
your winter jacket in the summer, isn't it?
yeah,
Something literally needs to be taken away
it
from you.
literally, something needs to be
Forward,
taken
you've
away.
got to give up the shit that weighs you down. And it's
Yeah.
not as easy as it sounds. It's not all about positive affirmations. And so when I'm telling my members to say that I am fucking amazing, I'm saying to appreciate the body that you've got. And that's a bit of gratitude. If you
Yeah.
can start saying I am amazing, not because you're doing amazing things, which we all are, but
We
people
are.
don't
Yeah.
accept that, but because you're able to get out of bed,
Mm.
walk down the stairs and make yourself a cup of tea. Your body is amazing.
Your body is
Your body
amazing.
is part of you, therefore you are amazing. And you can't argue with that. And
No.
that kind of helps, because when I'm working with the dog owners, they often have a lot of backstory.
Mm.
And the backstory is, I failed with my other dog. I'm failing with my dog now. They don't come to me because they've got perfectly behaved dogs and a happy life. Yeah. And we've got to, like you, unravel
Yeah.
that backstory. And part of that is you do not treat this dog as you treat your last dog. It's not fair to expect this dog to do what your last dog did. It's not that
Mm.
dog.
No.
And it's unfair for you to be the owner to this dog as you were the last dog, because you're a different
Because you're a
person.
different person.
Life
Yeah.
experiences changes us, age changes us, environments changes us, pandemics changes. This kind of life that we get to live every day changes us. And so
Mm.
we should change. We should expect to change. People say, well, you've changed. And thank God for that.
Yeah.
Because I'd be fucking miserable if I was still 20, I tell you now. Do you know what I mean? Imagine
Yeah.
that. Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
And so change is good, but change is also scary. And
Change is
sometimes
massively scary. Yeah.
letting go, or even being willing to let go of the identity that the past has
Mm.
around you, and you identify yourself as that, and realizing that actually that doesn't define you, is a whole scary process in itself.
It's
So
very
realize
scary.
that you're brave for just even having that inkling, I need help, is brave.
Mm.
To say that I want to change. Massive.
Yeah, it's huge.
Massive.
It's the biggest step that anybody that I work with makes.
Yeah.
And it's the hardest to pick up to connect with me on that free call, or even just to say, I've read your website, I want to start working with you. Because that's usually, that's more so what happens rather than the free call. But to be able to say that, to be able to put yourself first, that's the first step to
Yeah.
self-compassion, to acknowledging who you are, that you need help. And that is the first step in self-compassion. It's the first step in self-awareness. It's the first step in self-acceptance. And to be able to say, to acknowledge that regardless of the success, regardless of the person, the professional success or the business success, or that there's something still wrapped around you that is suffocating. And to be able, for women, and I do work with men, they get past the pink and purple branding occasionally. It does look like, I don't know. It does. I do wonder whether I've gone a bit overboard on the pink, but hey, I like pink. But it's, I do work with men occasionally, and it's so hard for them, for anyone to say, I need help.
Yeah,
I need
I've got a son, my youngest, and he won't mind me saying this because we are very Obviously, I'm not going to name him, but anybody who knows he's my son knows he's my son. But he has mental health issues, and he's attempted suicide before. And for him, is a young male to say, I need help, was like, I'm saying like he needs help, he needs help. I can't make appointments for him. He's over
No.
18. I can't do anything. He's over 18. He wasn't in a place to say, I need help, because he was just all consumed
Yeah.
with surviving the
Mhm.
day, getting through the next hour, let
Yeah.
alone the day. The day was overwhelming.
Mhm.
And so when he was ready, to cut a long story short, because crisis team and everything was involved with it and all that, and that wasn't a great experience just for us.
Mhm.
I've had lots of positive experiences from other people, but I'm saying just for us, it was a bit flippant.
Yeah. Okay.
And when he was getting better, and he was like, I actually need to do something about this now. I was, oh my God, it was one of the proudest days of my life, because how much has that took him to say, and now he will openly talk about mental health problems and mental health. He's not on social media. He can't deal with it. That's fine. It's not for everyone. But
No.
amongst people he meets, and when they say things, he'll say, oh yeah, I've had depression. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I know how I'm going to manage today.
Yeah.
And to be owning that, you know, he's not that label. That label doesn't define him. It's an experience that he's had.
Yeah.
Should that come back, he knows that his survival rate so far is 100%.
Yeah.
And that's got his back. It's like, sometimes if all I can do today is breathe while I'm laid on my bed, you know, and just literally get through this moment, sometimes that's what he's had to do.
Yeah.
And that's been fine, because that's kept him here.
Yeah.
And so he now is giving himself self-compassion. He was supposed to be out today. He's actually downstairs. He's like, I am spent today. He's been running himself ragged, like stupidly burning the candle at both ends. Hey, we're out the pandemic. I'm going to see you mate here, and I'm going to do this and this and this. And then he's like, I'm like,
Yeah.
So today he's like, fuck this. I'm like, I need that me time.
Yeah.
Instantly, it's like, have it, son. I was actually doing that mother thing, and he said he was cold, so I put a blanket in the tumble dryer for him, and wrapped him in a warm blanket. It's like, there, have a warm hug while you're there. But yeah, and it's recognizing and letting people know that it's okay. This isn't all about our self-compassion. It's about letting other people know that it's okay for them to have self-compassion and put themselves first. Like today, my son's put himself first. Yeah, he's cancelled appointments with his friends. Is he letting them down? Yeah. Possibly.
Possibly, but
Does he need to for his own filling his own cup up? 100%. Do it, son. Yeah. Do it, son. I will make you the chicken soup for lunch. Yeah.
Because everybody needs a chicken soup when it's like that.
Everybody. I actually don't like it unless it's homemade. I can't avoid shop bought chicken soup. It's just not right.
Yeah. And you know, you're so right, because, you know, in terms of reciprocating that compassion, that self-compassion, you know, is because that's an intersubjective relationship. That's actually, you know, that deep connection.
That's the whole Punch Beauty show going on in your head as well, isn't it? It gives you a compliment. They say, take it, not taking it, take it, not taking it.
Take it, no, take it.
And you're having an argument in your own head. That's fucking spirit.
Yeah.
That is like, oh.
That's hard work. That's hard
it is, because you can literally feel yourself pushing a compliment away. I do it. You've just done it with Helen, the legend Ferguson.
I did do it. I as we've been talking, I've been like, yeah, I did do that, didn't I? Yeah.
You need to own that. And we do, because we are brought up not to be big-headed, not blow your own trumpet.
I'm going to have a T-shirt done of it now. I think that's probably how I'm going to own it. I'm just going to have Helen.
Get it on a candle and burn it. Get on a mug while you're lifting your mug up. Get it on. Somebody got me a mug. I felt really bizarre about this mug. My mug says, everyone knows a Jo. She's usually fucking fabulous.
And they're not wrong. They're not wrong.
If I first thing I thought was like, I can't have that. Somebody can't think that of me and get me a gift.
Yeah.
And a lot of self-compassion as well is learning to accept the uncomfortable stuff because you actually need to.
It's getting comfortable with the uncomfortable stuff, because compassion cuts through the crap. As Bethel and I in our conversation, that compassion cuts through the crap. It's getting uncomfortable. It's getting comfortable with the uncomfortable stuff, and really stepping into your true self, your real self, that says, I'm good enough for this. I'm worthy enough for this.
It's hard. It's hard
Yeah.
work. And that's what it is. It's work. You know, it's not hard fun. It's not loads of fun. It's work. And trying to just dive in, like if you're reading like self-help books or listening to self-help motivational things on the internet, sometimes you feel like you've got to go from where you are now right to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
No walking boots, no weather equipment, nothing. You've just got to get right up there and toughen it out. And that's not being aligned and true with yourself either, because that's pushing yourself into a place that might not be right for you. You know, you've got to start asking yourself, personally for me, is asking myself the questions, what do I want? If nothing I did was wrong, what would I do?
Yeah.
If nothing I did offended anybody, if nobody was offended by what I did, what would I do? Because I know I'm actually a nice person. So nothing I do would be like mugging all grannies or conning people out of money. Or, do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be bad. But why does it feel bad? And it's normally about the judgment that you're going to get from other people. You're going to offend other people. You're going to let them down. That feels bad.
Yeah.
And emotions create chemical reactions in your body, and you can actually make yourself sick with your own thoughts.
Yeah.
And so when you're talking about self-compassion as well, every time I hear you speak about it, the thing that stands out for me is not only does it genuinely comes like from your heart. It's not just something you're doing for a job.
No.
It genuinely comes from your heart. But the fact that you're giving it to people in the steps that is manageable for them. This isn't a one size fits all. You've got to find. Some people can go like, okay, right, I've had it. I'm done. I'm leaving that job and I'm going to do something else. It might be somebody else. That's not that easy. They haven't got money to throw at programs in order to do self-improvement one-for-one. They haven't got the security, that family nest thing, to be able to, help support them. They haven't got that supportive background around them. And so everybody's in a unique and individual to them, which is exactly how it is supposed to be. Do you know what I mean? We're not programmed to be the same. That would be fucking boring.
It would be very boring. Yeah.
It would be mental if they were all programmed like me. Imagine that. The world would be chaos. It's finding out what pace is right for you as well. It's like you see people run the marathon. You've got the sprinters up front. They finish it in like record time.
Yeah.
And then you've got the people who walk it. And they're like 2 days, some of them. And then you've got people in the middle all going at their own pace. Nobody says you've got to run the marathon in this time.
No.
Nobody says you've got to make these changes by this time. You do it at what's right for you. And I love that about you. It's like all about what's right for you.
Yeah. Sorry, I did hear all of that, but somebody just started a Hoover outside this door. So it would happen.
I was worried about my dog.
I heard it, and it's there. It's
like that big willy on my wall at the moment, isn't it? Just looking at, I drew a willy on my whiteboard, and I forgot about it. Closed my door, and now all I can see is a big willy out the corner of my eye. It's like totally different stuff. Sorry, but yeah, I hear you. I keep on moving my chair. I'm moving about a lot today.
Yeah, it was just that beautiful moment, that warmth and love that you just gave me, and I was holding it, and then just somebody started the Hoover. I was like, why would you do that? Anyway, that brought me back down to earth. Anyway, but no, I was talking about my own compassion to
Yeah.
to people I was talking with actually last week when I was delivering their training and everything. And we are wired for it. So my compassion for the people is I see them in pain, and I actually want to just make it not better for them. I want to help them. I'm not.
And what you say, make it better for them, is a very natural thing. And when you've said it, it's a very natural thing for you to
Yeah,
say, because as women, we are
yeah.
compassionate, we are nurturing, we are that. We
And
have
it is a very
And you
nurturing
do
feeling from
want to make things better for people,
yeah,
because you don't like seeing people in pain. So that's a
no,
perfectly natural,
yeah.
response to want to do. But then we realise we can't make things
We
better
can't
for
make
them.
it. Yeah,
We can give
so,
them the tools, we can
yeah,
hold the hand, we can
yeah.
hold the space for them.
Exactly. And that's that I am the woman my husband hates going for a coffee with me, right? Because I am the woman that will, if somebody's sat on their own, I'm like, oh, they're sad. They look sad. I need to go and sit and talk with them. And he's like, they're just having a coffee. They're okay on their own. And I'm like, oh no, but they do look really sad. They look lonely. So I get this kind of feeling. And I'm obviously wrong a lot of the time, because people can go and have coffee on their own.
Leave me alone.
I'm literally like, hiya, you're right to mind if I sit down. And my husband's like, will you just leave these people alone? They're fine. I do get it right sometimes, where actually, it's been a lovely response from someone, and I end up hearing people's life stories. I can get into a taxi, and within 10 minutes I've heard the whole life story of the taxi driver. I think I've just got one of those faces. But I'm also, I listen. And I
Yeah,
listen. I always just say that I listen with my heart ears.
yeah.
That's when I'm watching, when I'm listening, when I'm observing. I'm very. It can be quite unnerving for people. I'm not analysing them. I'm just listening, but it looks as though I'm not. It looks a little bit kind of too calm for them. And so I say I'm actually listening with my heart ears, because I can listen to words,
Yeah.
but actually what I'm doing is I'm listening to the rest. And
And
that's
it's
what
more,
compassion
it's
is.
more than just the words, isn't it? It's that, like that Fun Boy 3 song. It's not what you say, it's the way that you say it.
Mm. Yeah.
And you can use one word in a multitude of different meanings, and it can be painful, it can be joyful, it can be poignant, it could be really, it's the way, it's the way. It's like, if I can say I love you in a million different ways.
Yeah.
It's like, if my teenage son used to slam the door, he'd go, "Ah, yeah, I love you too." It's like, "I love you," or "I really love you," or "Oh, yeah, I love you. You love you, yeah." And words can, and your word as you want as well. So very, very aware of how you speak, and especially how you speak to yourself. And
Mm.
we are so, I was going to say, we are so bad at the way we speak to ourselves. But actually, we're fucking amazing at it, because we're often telling ourselves we're idiots. We've rehearsed this all our lives. We have
Yeah.
rehearsed how we speak to ourselves without even realizing. So we're really good at it.
Yeah.
We're good at it. We do it without realizing. Like
Mm.
driving a car, you don't need to
Mm.
know how your 2 feet work all 3 pedals, and your 2 hands can do the indicators
Can
and
do
the
the yeah.
steering wheel and the thing. And yeah, and check the mirrors and do everything else and put your seatbelt on and drive safely. I mean, that in itself is amazing. So give yourself some credit for that, if you've mastered
Mm.
the art of driving. But we do that kind of automatically now, because we've got so used to it. And this is a big shocker for some people, when somebody else, and again, I do this with a lot of my members, when they keep on
Mhm.
saying, "I can't do this, I don't know how to do it. I've never been able to do that." Said who? Said who? Show me that evidence.
Yeah.
And I kind of want them to come here and show me why they believe that is true. And if they
Mm.
believe, why are they saying it to themselves? You're
Mm.
lying to
Mm.
yourself.
You're lying to
Nobody
yourself.
wants to be lied to, but you do it to yourself
But you
every
do it.
single day.
Yeah. And the first kind of 2 sessions that people have with me is really looking at that self-criticism, those self-limiting beliefs. Where have they come from? What's the tone of voice? Whose voice is it? Whose voice actually is it? Because
Yeah.
it's not our own.
Sorry,
It's
is it?
from somewhere else. And we've absorbed it, because you're not born saying I'm not good enough.
No.
You know, don't come out of the womb going, oh, hang on, I'm going to go back because I'm not good enough. You know, it's like, so, you know, I help people kind of understand where that voice is coming from. But the one thing that we do, that we are expert at, is that if we believe something
Oh, yeah.
about ourselves, we will search for the proof of that, and
Absolutely.
we will find it. Because if we look hard enough, we will find a proof that we're not good enough, we're not worthy, we're really shit at this. Why am I bothering? Because I'm crap. All of that. I deserved what happened to me. I deserved what they did. I deserved what they said. They were telling the truth when they told me that, you know, that I deserved to be hit. I deserved to be this. I deserved to be that. And they were telling the truth. Because and what we do, it's become a human instinct. We don't do it as kids. We don't do it as little children.
And
We do it when we do it as we become
that
more sophisticated in our thinking.
totally held
Yeah.
me back for decades because I believed I deserved to be put in an institution at 11 and just left there. You know, not wondering when I was coming out, where I was going out, in a secure unit where you couldn't open the windows, you had to have a person with you all the time. It was, I believed I deserved that. I was in there because I got attacked sexually when I was 11. I believed I deserved that because if I didn't have an argument with my mate at school, aged 11, in the after school swimming club, I wouldn't have been walking on that field by myself.
Yeah.
So I believed I deserved that. And you're right, that your brain will twist it to find the truth. But then you've got to think, when you stand up and you start owning it and you start thinking, hang on. If I took myself out of these shoes and looked at it from somebody else's point of view, and I see an 11-year-old girl having an argument with a friend at school over some random shit, which is deeply important when you're 11.
When you're 11,
Deeply important, you know, which boy band you like, or, you know, which skirt you've got, that, you know, it's deeply important and very valid. And you've got to understand that shit like this is very important when you're 11. So much so that you will get out the swimming pool, get dressed and walk home. Normal behaviour of an 11-year-old.
Normal behaviour, yeah.
Then to get attacked by a man on a school field, that is not okay by anybody's standards. So why do you believe you deserve that?
That's shame.
Yeah, where does that come from? And I think sometimes looking at it as what they call a conscious observer and actually seeing it from the scar, not the wound, the wound anymore.
Yeah.
You know, that shit has happened.
Yeah.
So now let's start looking at it and let's start dealing with the emotions, because emotions are important. Emotions will fester. Emotions will stop you doing what you're doing. Fear is an emotion.
Absolutely.
It's a thing. It's not real. You can't hold it.
No.
You can't take hold of fear.
No.
It's there. It's in our heads. It's in our bodies. And what goes on in our mind affects our body. You think of something, oh my God, right. You think of an unpleasant experience, and we do this so much. When we've had an argument with somebody, we won't just leave it there. We will walk away, and you know what? We'll replay that argument 100 fucking times. Every one of them. Our heartbeat is racing faster and faster. We're imagining, I should have said that. I should have done that. We're really solidifying that one. Like, you know, really put it in a capsule and keep it tight, and we're storing it in our bodies. So next time we think of it, that emotion is nice and strong. Straight away, it'll give you palpitations, sweaty palms, and you're furious again. Why? Why do we punish? And it is.
It's punishment.
Sounds like that. That's not self-compassion.
No.
Is it human? Yes. Do we do it? Yes. Have we seen other people do it? Yes. Do we learn by observation and association? Yes.
Yeah. But
Kids
it
do
also
as
comes,
well.
you're right, because it also comes from thinking and believing that there are bad emotions,
Yeah.
that there are emotions that we shouldn't have,
All
that are not
emotions are valid and real,
all
and
emotions are valid. They are a compass. They are signposting you to what you need. And I often talk about, the more simple emotions like anger, sadness, happiness. They're kind of your bodyguards. Anger is a bodyguard to actually what is probably more painful underneath and more difficult to say,
yeah,
which is I'm disappointed, I'm scared, I'm frightened, I'm worried about myself. I'm, all of those things that are actually just really difficult to say. So often it'll be anger and frustration that comes out first because they're the bodyguard for you. But the idea that there are good, and I actually ban in sessions an emotion being described as either bad or negative. I
I think
say,
it's because something, if it feels not good, we associate the black and white
associated.
picture of there's good and there's bad, and so that's labeled
Yeah.
as a bad emotion, and that's labeled as a good emotion.
But I think it's
Fact
also
is,
different people describing that to us as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
You shouldn't be having that
absolutely,
emotion.
yeah,
You shouldn't be behaving. It's the idea that the emotion is a behavior. You know,
absolutely. You see a child having a tantrum on the floor like a toddler in the supermarket, and that child will from can we just bear in mind my parenting skills I'm talking about here from decades ago, right? I'm not saying people do this now. They might not. I don't know. But when my kids were toddlers, and I've done it myself, totally hold my hands up, my child flat out in the middle of a supermarket floor screaming because he couldn't have a whatever lollipop or whatever, having full blown tantrum on the floor, and I'd tell him to stop being naughty. You're a bad boy.
mm,
That was my parenting skills. That's all I knew. I did
mhm.
not know any better. Yeah. I also never smacked my child then, which was again was disapproved of.
Disapproved of,
Totally
yeah,
disapproved of. You should just whack him. Whack him. If he's being naughty, if he's being bad,
yeah,
give
yeah.
him some physical punishment. No, I used to give him time out. And that time out mainly was for me because I didn't want to shout at him. And
Mhm.
I was getting to the end of my tether. Again, totally normal emotion.
Yeah,
But you're not expected to, nobody likes to talk about the bad emotions, the one what doesn't make you feel good. Anger doesn't make you feel good. Sadness doesn't make you feel
no,
good. Grief does not make you feel good. Shame, oh God, don't even go there. Don't even go there. And those tricky subjects
yeah.
that make people feel uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Why? Why?
Mm.
Why can't it be that, you know what, we were given these emotions? We might not understand why we have these emotions, but they are here for a reason.
Mm.
If we start ignoring and blocking these, we are literally muting a
Mm.
part of
Yeah.
ourselves that we need to understand and able to grow,
Mhm.
step into our power, say, "Do you know what, all these emotions are mine. I am entitled to them. I'm entitled to have feelings."
Yeah.
You
And
wouldn't
they are
expect somebody else to do that.
they are signposting you to a need.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do I actually need? Because I'm feeling this. So
If
therefore I
I'm
need,
living in fear,
okay,
what is making
what
me
is,
fearful?
yeah.
Start
And what do
asking
I
yourself
need in order to help with that fear?
and that
With
could be
it,
something practical, it
yeah,
could be something emotional. It
exactly.
could be if you're feeling fear and you're in a place somewhere, it might be the environment. It might be as simple as, right, I need to move out of this environment. I'm not happy being on this train station platform.
Mm.
I'm not happy there are too many people around me. I want to move. That is a
Mhm.
fear of
Yeah.
mine. I'm
Yeah.
not great. I know I might just sound brilliant on like when it's just me and you via Zoom. Yeah. Put me in a room with a lot of people, I
Mhm.
shit my pants. Not
Mm.
literally, but I'm like kind of, whoa, these are people, actual people and person people here. I'm not great with a lot of with people being in
Mm.
my personal
In your
space,
personal space. Yeah.
especially if I don't know them. And if there's a crowd of people there, yeah, I'm kind of, these are all strangers. These could all be potentially out to harm me. That's again part of my past. But it's part of who I am. Maybe I'm just
Mhm.
not meant there to run into crowds of people going, yeah, give me a hug. It's just part of who I am. And a lot of self-compassion is accepting who you are, and not yet. We've all got strengths. We've all got like things we are really amazing at. Yeah, totally focus on them. But you know what? Then what other people might consider weak spots, do you have to build them up? For who? Ask yourself who you're doing this for, because if it's for you, yeah, okay. If you're going to benefit from that, yeah.
Exactly.
If you don't want to, stand there and own it. Nah, I don't want to. I don't want to go clubbing in Ibiza. One, I think I'm too old, but two, it's my idea of hell. Being in that packed nightclub around people I don't know is my idea of hell. Why? Because it doesn't align with me, and I am making that totally cool. Do not need to explain myself to anybody else. Do not need to apologize to anybody else. This is me. This is my life. I've got one shot. I am literally owning every inch of who I am and saying, that's not for me. I'm happy to do something else with you, but not that. Because I don't want to. And that's the only explanation I give to a lot of people. Joe, will you do this? No, why? I don't want to. I don't want to.
You don't want to.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And I avoid a lot of people as well. It's like if you do see people in the supermarket and you know they're going to make you feel bad, you know they're going to ask you them questions and then give you that response. The touch or the look or the roll of the eyes or the whatever. And some people say to me, you know, it's happened a few times lately, especially now we've all come back out of the pandemic. And they say, hey, hi, Joe, how are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm great. I've just got a nip over here. And I'm off 6 hours down. I've checked out the supermarket and I'm gone. I'm at book speaking to them. Yeah. Because they don't make me feel good.
Yeah.
They like feeding off the negativity of others in order for them to make them feel good. Well, you know, at least she's having a shit time with whatever. You know, at least she's doing that. My life's better than that. And in this comparisonitis people get into as well.
Yes.
It's damaging. It's damaging. So now I'm not like bothered about offending people because I know it happens. I literally just say, hi, yeah, I'm good. How you doing? I've literally just got to go here. I'll catch you up. I am catching them up for no one. Yeah, times when I genuinely am busy and I'm like, I will catch up.
Exactly.
And I will catch up with you. But people who you haven't seen for like 5 years, and then you remember there's a reason why you haven't seen them for 5 years. It's normally a good one. And
like Emma's saying, surround yourself with people who support you and make you feel good. You know, because self-compassion, like you say, is also about disengaging from those people.
And how many billions of people are there in the world? There is not just that circle who you physically feel like you physically see. Do you know what I mean? Very few actual people in my life I will physically engage with. There are thousands who I won't engage with. I'm not available to them. I'm not subscribing to that pity party or that shaming party or that party of self-destruction. I am not hanging out in that, let's see who's life's most shit. Because they do that. It's like, my dog's not very well. Oh God, I remember when my dog wasn't very well. They were on Metacam and somebody else would be like, oh my God.
It's the blacker kind of thing, isn't it?
Oh, well, I tell you what, you've heard nothing until you've heard my story. And it's like a race to who's got the shittest story in life.
Yeah. And there isn't a race in that.
I'm not there.
And, you know, I always say that the trauma, challenging life experiences, things that happen that make us feel particular things, they're kind of universal. They're going to happen. The trauma response and how you then heal and recover from that is unique and personal to you.
Yeah.
Because it is linked directly to your self-compassion and self-awareness and self-acceptance. It's not going to come from anyone else.
You can't get the help. You can't get, and when I'm saying getting, it is that fact that nobody can help you unless you are open to receiving that help. And you can't get that help unless you're wanting to, you're willing to. You might not be able to say, I am going to change. You might not feel that safe. You know, it's a huge thing to do. But once you start saying, I am willing, I am going to just open the door a little crack and have a look and see what's out there. You don't have to go out.
You don't have to go out. You don't have to. You just have to look
right out there. You
Yeah.
just have to be willing.
Yeah.
Open to the idea. Just see. Just be curious about it. What if there is actually, you know, something out there that would benefit me? What if there is help out there where I can learn these skills? And a lot of these skills, once you've got them for life.
Oh, they're your emotional toolkit. They're intrinsically yours.
Yeah,
and
it's
yours
like
alone.
if you fall again, you've got a bit of a cushion to land on.
Mm.
You know, it's not going to hurt. Yeah, something's hurt, and you've got accept that in life. Things hurt, and it's not just things like bereavement and grief and losing people or losing a job. It's people's words, it's people's opinions of you. And when you start accepting that it's normal for things to hurt you, it's because you're human.
Because you're
and it's
human.
because you care.
Yeah.
But you don't have to stay in that hurt space. You don't have to keep replaying that, and you do not have to have other people's opinions of you. They're entitled to the opinions. They can keep them. They can have them all their life if they want. But when you realize that you are not defined by other people's opinions, you are not defined by your experiences in life. You are not defined by what has happened to you. You are not defined by your job, by your status.
You're not defined by any label.
No, you're just you. You're a human.
Yeah.
Going through life, doing what they can with what they know at this time, but knowing that there is always more opportunities, there is more available things out there, especially now in this age of long distance things like the internet. We don't always have to be in person, which is absolutely brilliant for people who don't like being with people. And people who don't feel safe, especially with the COVID thing still hanging out around us. They don't feel safe being in the vicinity of professional offices, waiting rooms, and that kind of setting that we used to stereotypically have, as if you wanted therapy, you had to go to somewhere in that room, and you don't even have to do that now.
No.
It's like the whole world is open to us with this internet, and you can be in the comfort of your own sofa, getting the help that your soul needs. Yeah.
And discover that actually you have everything within you to be able to heal and recover from those experiences.
The day I realised that I am more powerful and stronger than I would ever give my credit for, absolutely brought me to tears.
Yeah.
It was just like, I felt a range of emotions to like, one, I don't give a fuck now what you think of me. Yeah, I'm going to do what I do regardless. What am I going to do if I live by other people's opinions? I'm just going to be tucked in a cupboard somewhere. That is not right. That's not right for anyone. Yeah. But for me to just be able to do what I do, regardless what has happened to me, like, and there has been some traumatic, obviously horrendous traumatic events in my life. There has been a multitude of what I should be doing in order to be the right daughter, the right partner, the right mother of what society wants of me. Maybe that's not enough for what society wants. If you think that, like, oh, I can't do that because who am I to break out of that thing? The way I had to do it was, okay, maybe I'm not good enough for society. Maybe I'm not good enough to be that perfect, peg in the hole of what other people want. So do you know what? I will be the outsider. I'll stand my ground as the outsider because clearly I don't fit into all of them. And I gave myself permission to be me. Fully embraced that weirdo one who was the weird kid who never quite fitted in with everything. Well, you know why? Maybe I wasn't supposed to. Maybe I was supposed to be in my own side of the fence. Maybe I was supposed to be like this and randomly talk to dogs, regardless of whether I know the owners, and randomly like say to people on the, you know, like you in the cafe with strangers on. Me with somebody with a dog, the dog's pulling, I'm over there. Hi, do you know, if you just held them like this,
Yeah.
I often get told to fuck off. Don't get me fucking dog.
I have had that in a cafe once, just once, but I think I know that I could talk to you all day because I know that, you know, we need to be in a room one day together and have that cup of tea.
We need a week. We need a whole week. It's not just a day. We need a week.
I think, you know, there were lots of, I mean, gosh, this conversation has been so inspiring for so many, and I think it's fantastic that everything that we've been able to speak about. And I think the biggest thing to end on, the biggest aspect to end on, is what you've actually just said, which is give yourself permission to be you.
Yeah.
Give yourself permission to acknowledge what you need, to notice what you need, and to say, I'm going to do that. And it doesn't matter what other people think of me because of it. I need to do it for me.
Yeah, because you're not going to get another chance.
You're not going to get another chance.
Another chance at this
all
day.
within you.
You're not going to get a chance at this week. You can't go back, but you can start.
You can start
and say from now on. Yeah. From now on, do you know what? Yes, I am going to be a bit selfish.
Yeah. Yeah.
From now on, selfish means keeping me sane, keeping my cup filled up, doing what I need to do in order for me to be happy, so that then I can be all I can be to other people in my own way, which aligns me. Yeah, you need to do this. Yeah, this is why we're here.
Exactly. And Emma is agreeing with us. That's what I need to do. Yes, Emma, you need to give yourself permission to be your lovable mad self.
Absolutely. Emma is amazing. Another woman
we all love Emma. We all love Emma. But Jo, it has been absolutely bloody fantastic to have you on this morning. I do usually swear a lot, but I managed to contain myself on these. My husband actually told me off once for not literally kind of a big tell off, but he was like, "You swear a lot," and I was like, "I have to contain myself in these."
It's again something that I've accepted.
But I think it's an expression, and I think, you know, and I know that you were perhaps worried about whether it was okay, but I put on YouTube that it's not for kids.
Yeah,
so, but I have absolutely loved today's conversation, and I think it has been an inspiration and will be an inspiration for anybody that has been watching and will watch on replay. I could just sit and talk to you all day. I have a feeling I might be asking you back to continue the conversation another time, and which will fill you with horror, I know. But just where can people find you if they're looking to work with you?
If they're looking to work with me, because I do mindfulness sessions as well, because like I said, my degree is in brain and behavior, so I do mindfulness sessions. This is not therapy, by the way. There is a big difference. But you can find me on my Facebook profile, which is Jo Wilson. It's got me and my dog there, so you know I'm open to friends requests if you want to get in my world. You can also find me on Instagram at Dog School for Humans and at Noodly Noodles, which is the dog's Instagram account, but I hang out in there a lot because I love it. I've also got a free group called the Daily Dog Post, where we do have some free training for you to do with your dogs, because you are your dog's best trainer, and by the time you work with me for about 30 minutes, you are under no illusion that you are the best trainer for your dog. And I'm literally all over. I'll just tag me in Helen's posts or whatever, and she can get you in touch with me.
I'm posted to the right.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a I am kind of on. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but nowhere else. But obviously, I do have my website, Dog School for Humans, which is very, very new. But there's 2 blog posts on there. Both of them contain a lot of swearing.
That's great. I've read them.
Any useful information at all whatsoever, apart from me telling you that I swear a lot in blog posts.
Yeah.
But
No, I've read them. They're great. So yeah, get reading. Get reading,
so
everyone.
much for having me, Helen. Thank you so much.
We just have, Teresa, great dialogue, guys. One question: what if you don't know what you need? Get curious.
Right. This is why
and explore.
I did not know honestly what I needed. I did not know what I wanted because I was so conditioned, and this is how you are, conditioned into putting other people's needs first. You start thinking, well, what the fuck do I want? I don't know. Right. You then write down a list of what you don't want.
What you don't want, and you get curious.
Take that over. But also, journaling questions I ask myself is literally things like, what would I do if nobody's opinion mattered? That starts getting you curious. What would I, how would my life be if everything I did, didn't have an
effect?
And start asking yourself them questions. You might not get the answers in a day, but that thing of writing down what you don't want in your life, and flip that over when you decide what you do want in your life, then you can literally brainstorm as to what you need in order to bring what you desire into your life. So say like, okay, I don't want to be working in this news agency anymore, which is literally what I did. Right, 7 years ago. So I thought, well, what do I want? Well, I want a job that combines psychology and knitting and crocheting. Everyone laughed at me. Everyone laughed at me. So what do I need to do that? I'll set up my own shop and I'll get referrals from GPs with people with anxiety and depression. And I did, and they came and learned to knit and crochet in my own workshop. So finding out what you need, finding out what you want gives you the doorway to find out what you need.
Finding out what you need. Exactly.
And you can create that timeline and start writing, start brainstorming, get creative, get curious. This is your life.
Exactly. And activating your curiosity.
It's phenomenal. I feel like Alice in Wonderland. You imagine me when I start activating my curiosity, like fucking hell, there's no bounds. I'm like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing everything.
But really activate. We suppress our curiosity in life, but really activate it. And Joe, they were great tips.
Yeah, and give yourself permission to dream. There is nothing wrong with dreaming.
There's nothing wrong with dreaming.
We have this thought process in our head because it feels good. Dreaming is good for you. If it makes you feel good, do it. Dream.
There you go. Teresa, I hope that helps. Joe, thank you so much. I'm going to sadly end the conversation there, but I think it's been fantastic. And thank you everyone who's been here watching and commenting. And Teresa says she's going to give it a go, which is brilliant. Teresa, we'd love to hear back how it goes. So thank you very much, all of you, for watching. And Joe, again, thank you very much. Let you go off and get a cup of tea now and relax. All right, so I'll see you soon. Take care.